This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back to the show. We are honored to have Corine Patti joining us again here today live. Beautiful day in New York. Fall season is upon us. She's the owner of Energy Wise Wellness, and just one of the things she does. She's also a Reiki Master, mental health therapist, and of course is working with so many people, parents, families, children, you name it, to help with. I know we talked about self-care and anger management last time, but there's a lot that you do to help you. And welcome back. For those that may not know a little bit of your background, would you mind just sharing?
Sure. Thank you so much, Jill. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. You know, the kids are off of school today because it's the Jewish holiday Yom Kippur.
Right.
It's a nice break. We had a late night tonight, a little sleepover with their friends, so I think that's fun. It
Cute.
gives some lightness instead of rushing around in the morning, getting up. I feel well rested today. And what about yourself?
Right. Right. Great. Great. It's a beautiful day. I had a bunch of sessions outside yesterday.
Yeah, and you're
You know,
outside, by the way. If you're watching, it's beautiful out
yes.
there. Yeah.
Right. Yes, it's very exciting. And it segues into our topic today. But before we start, I just wanted to let you know that my YouTube is launched. It does have the podcast episodes up on it. So yeah, so it's
Congratulations.
just at Energy Wise Wellness on YouTube. And
Beautiful.
I'm gonna start uploading some guided meditations and things on there as well. So you can look for
Amazing.
me there.
Well, thank
Yes.
you. All right. Seasonal mood disorder. Is that what we're talking about today? What
Seasonal
is it called?
affective disorder.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And what is
Yes,
that
seasonal
exactly?
affective. And what you said about, the rest and the having time, to do things that you like to do, that's going to all come into play as well, too. And, we always talk about the self-care and things like that. So, seasonal affective disorder, the name of this podcast is Seasonal Affective Disorder, Getting a Step Ahead of the Winter Blues. Right. So we really usually know it as the winter blues, but seasonal affective disorder can happen with any season.
Okay.
Usually the fall and the winter, and then people feel a little bit of an elevated mood in the spring, but you really have to know yourself to see where it's going. It's actually it's actually a recurrent major depressive disorder, and I don't think people
Really?
realize that.
No.
So people when what happens when the seasons change in the fall and the winter, right? It
Okay.
gets darker earlier, we have less sunlight, mindsets maybe start getting a little shifty about the winter coming. Some people have anticipatory anxiety or depression about the season
Mm-hmm.
changing because there's not going to be as much sunlight, and they know that maybe their mood can dip.
Yeah.
Sometimes insomnia, things like this. Well, these are all biological effects of not having enough vitamin D in our
True.
system because we're not
Okay.
getting enough. So in the Northeast, we're probably most of us are vitamin D deficient. And when you go for your yearly physical, they check for all your different vitamin levels to make sure that you have enough vitamin B, enough vitamin D for your energy, for your mental health, for your physical health as well. And do your research into all of that. But with vitamin D, we get vitamin D from the sun. And the vitamin D, it does many things to help in the functioning of our physical bodies. But with the brain, vitamin D helps us to develop serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that helps to regulate mood, and melatonin, which helps us sleep. Some people take the supplement melatonin to get better rest because maybe they might be deficient in it and they might have some sleep issues as well. So also what happens in the winter time, we get kind of sedentary with our behaviors, right? We're not as active. When we're active and we're exercising, we're building those elevation hormones, the endorphins, the serotonin, the oxytocin, the dopamine, all of that stuff. It helps with that, especially the endorphins. You ever have a good workout and afterwards you feel really, really good
Yeah.
or really, really
Mm-hmm.
relaxed as if it was really therapeutic?
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so So sometimes because people don't go outside because it's cold, let's say, and it varies obviously for what season people are having the depressive symptoms for. So we need to be aware of all that and the different ways that we're affected by not getting as much sunlight. So taking a vitamin D supplement, if your doctor, if you're not allergic to make sure you're never allergic to anything. Always check with your doctor and things. I'm not a doctor, I'm a healer. So once again, I always go the holistic route,
Yeah.
but you might need some type of medication or something like that. That is for between you and your provider and really what you feel is going to be best for you to help you to be stabilized. Mental health issues, people have anxiety and they feel sad and stuff. It doesn't mean that you have a diagnosis per se, right? And the diagnosis really puts people in boxes, so
Yeah.
we want to be flexible with these things also. So really, it becomes a mental health condition when it's affecting your functioning, your daily functioning, when it's affecting your interpersonal relationships and things like this. How are you functioning in school or at work and things. So a lot of people have this seasonal affective disorder and it just becomes very normalized. The mindset of, oh crap, the winter's coming. Now I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
depressed and I'm going to look outside and be miserable. And it's like, what kind of spells you cast in here with your thoughts when
Yeah,
you're doing
just
that?
wait, just curious though, think about it. Well, we're in New York, so to us it's the cold winter, but does this disorder also affect people like in Florida? Like, do they have the seasonal, like, or is it just for those of us who experience like the seasons? I'm just thinking about that now because uh, is that true? I mean, I guess it can happen anywhere though, because maybe even the season of summer all the time could affect someone. I'm just thinking out loud.
Right, right, exactly. So in the DSM, it talks about the different diagnoses that people have. And it does say it is predominantly where there is winter time because we do get less vitamin D, but people can also have the seasonal affective disorder for the summer. Maybe someone passed in the summer and it brings up some kind of emotions. And every summer this happens, that it comes up. Maybe people don't like the sweltering heat and humidity and it makes them depressed because they feel like they can't really function in that type of weather and they stay indoors in the air conditioning so they're not getting outside because it's too hot outside. So you really have to see what's the pattern,
Yeah.
what's your own pattern and how are you going to cope with it, how are you going to deal with it. That's why this is called getting a step ahead of the winter blues, or the seasonal blues, we can call it
Okay.
as well
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just the winter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good
Yeah,
point.
yeah. So knowing yourself and, raising that conscious awareness of what's going on so you can put in the interventions to help yourself. The brain also has something in it called the SCN, the super chiasmatic nucleus. I know it's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious almost a little bit. But it is the part of the brain that wakes you up when you see the sun,
Yeah.
right? So you ever, maybe you want to sleep and somebody opens the shades and you're like, no, I can't, because it's going to kind of like brighten everything up. So there is that part of the brain that the suprachiasmatic nucleus that wakes you up when you see the sun. So if we're not getting as much sunlight, we're not going to feel awake. We're not going to feel as energized. So really being aware of all of this and helping yourself if you feel that you're having these depressive symptoms, you can't get out of bed, you're feeling fatigued, you're not feeling motivated, you're easily feeling guilty about stuff or guilting yourself about stuff. um some people have suicidal ideation,
Mm.
or thoughts during those times too if it gets really bad. So reach out to a mental health provider, and if it's an emergency, once again, you can go to the emergency room if there's a psychiatric crisis, or in the United States and Canada, dial or text 988 for support and know who your supports are. That's a huge piece of coping, is knowing who our supports are and who we can trust, and what's going to be the safety plan if I do start feeling a little funky and I'm not trusting myself to keep myself safe.
Thank you. Yeah.
Really, really there has to be some kind of safety plan in place.
As always. And as a mental health provider, just for those what are your credentials so they are aware? I don't think we mentioned it off the top.
I am a licensed clinical social worker,
Hmm.
and I'm also a Reiki Master, and I'm also a certified clinical trauma professional as well. So I help
Perfect.
people to manage different mental health symptoms and to help heal, body, mind, and soul to come into spiritual alignment. So we're going to kind of take the knowledge that we just talked about and the psychoeducation about what we just spoke about, and we're going to see how can we get a step ahead. How can we get a step ahead of this so we can stop the pattern? Because what happens is, and I said it before, we create spells with our thoughts and with our words. So if we keep walking the same path in our minds through our self-talk, we keep re-locking ourselves into imprisonment in our minds. Remember breaking the chains that bind us and or exposing the chains that bind us. Really, those negative core beliefs underlie our thoughts. And if we have negative core beliefs, they're feeding the thoughts, which are feeding the emotions and feeding the behaviors.
Yep.
So really, we need to know what am I thinking about to get to the root of things so we can heal this. So we want to break these thought patterns through this cognitive restructuring. Remember, we talked about treatment planning in the beginning of these podcasts?
Yep.
Yes, so we spoke about the shifting the thinking and doing different things for our physical health and and doing things for
Self-care.
our,
Yeah.
our spiritual health,
Hmm.
self-care and the coping skills and all of that. So we're going to use those type of goals in order to help ourselves to get to a more stable place where we can start feeling feelings of happiness and joy again and not worry about being depressed, because it really doesn't, we're a prisoner of our own thoughts. Free your mind, break the chains that bind us, liberate yourself. So, and it can be done because I've had many clients that just have made tons of progress and I'm so proud of them. They inspire me every single day. And I don't know if they know how much they inspire me every day, but it's part of my purpose here to do this. So, and I love people and I love learning from them. And, you know, if I can do it and other people can do it, then whoever's listening to this, you can do it too. It can be done. You have to believe though. Believing is the igniting force. It's the fire that's going to ignite this desire to help yourself, and you believing in yourself and knowing that you can do it too, not just believing, right?
Yeah.
So yes, so let's maybe start with the mental aspect and this cognitive restructuring, this rewiring of the brain that we've been talking about, right? So we
Okay.
can kind of make like a fake case scenario type of thing of a
Yeah.
person, and what might their mindset be about, let's say, the winter season coming? What might people start thinking about, or what might the mindset be?
Well, I mean, I think cold because I'm in New York and like depressing time because I'm not getting out enough. Then I also think, oh gosh, all the expenses from the holidays and the credit card debt because we always overspend for the holidays. And yeah, those are the two biggest things that come to mind for me.
Right. Right. And the holidays are a huge trigger for people, not
From
only because for the expenses,
the ones they're not
right?
with, the ones they've lost, the
Yeah, we
ones yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
yeah. So a lot of people, they have a hard time during the holidays, you know. So we need to have a mindset about it that's going to be healthier, maybe thinking of the nice things that you like about the holidays and the cozy things that you like about the the season, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the season, we're going to just stick to the winter since we do live in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Um, you know, putting on your hoodie and cozying up on a blanket and sitting by the fireplace, drinking a cup of hot cocoa and, all those kinds of cozy vibes, maybe you're going to delve into, and now I'm jumping to coping skills right now, right? But,
Mm-hmm.
delving into creative hobbies and rituals that you're going to do for yourself in the winter time, creating a brainstorm of what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Can I plan a vacation in February? Can I make plans, at least once a weekend with my friends? Can I plan phone calls or video chats with them? Really don't isolate yourself. Keep yourself engaged with society and with people that you love and that you care about. Maybe I'm going to take a course during the winter time. It's really thinking of it as this time of hibernation where we're really honing our craft, or we're looking inside. We talked about last time about shedding the ego and things like that. A lot of times people that have depressive symptoms, they're wearing a mask,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of us wear a mask. Really, the ego is that mask that you're going to show yourself. You're going to show up in the world in this way, but how you're really feeling behind that mask,
Yeah.
you know? So really, so let me come back to the mental health piece here. So let's get an idea of maybe a person's mindset about the winter. So,
Okay.
oh man, the winter's coming. I'm gonna be freaking miserable. I hate the holidays, and I'm gonna be broke. You know? So that's like a maybe some people think like this, right? I hate
Yeah.
looking outside and everything's dead. Like I'm starting to feel a little sad talking even about it, right? Because we're walking this path in our minds over and over and it just becomes normal and we have to change it. We have to create kind of like a glitch in the matrix here
Yeah.
so we can shift it,
Yeah.
or we're going to get stuck in the matrix really and be a slave. So we don't want to be a slave to our own thoughts. Liberate yourself. Yeah. So another healthier mindset, what's a better mindset to have maybe that this person can use as a thought intervention instead of all this misery?
I don't know. Help me out. What can we do?
Yeah. So okay, the winter is coming. I know I have this pattern of falling into certain things. So I'm going to plan a ski trip, and then I'm going to plan a trip to Florida or someplace warm, that's going to help me to
To
get the sunshine and
motivate.
all of this. Yeah, and you know what? I actually really like sitting by the fire with a hot cup of cocoa. That'd be really nice. Maybe I'll also light a candle and I'll journal when I'm doing that. And I'll delve into maybe parts of these shadow parts of myself, these parts of myself that I've kept hidden and that maybe I've repressed or been in denial of, and look at them and release them and heal them during the winter. That's a good time to do that, to work on those different shadow aspects. Jung talks about the different shadow aspects of the self. I didn't mention it last time, but it's absolutely a part of the ego shedding. So maybe you're going to do some introspection during those times where you're going to maybe you go to therapy during that
Mm-hmm.
time because you have a hard time, right? Maybe you listen to inspiring podcasts like this one.
Yes, like you. Oh,
Right? So it's really the way we think, and remembering that if I'm remembering the cognitive behavioral therapy, the thoughts affecting the emotions, affecting the behaviors. So we need to do that cognitive reconstruction to walk the new path in our minds so that we
yeah.
can have a new way of being. So the person's thinking miserable thoughts about the winter, how are they going to feel? Kind of miserable,
Miserable.
right?
Totally.
And then how are they going to behave? They're going to be talking crap about the winter. They're going to be saying
Mm-hmm.
saying things that are negative. And remember the RAS, the reticular activating system, it wants to filter more of the negative if you're thinking the negative because it's going to prove you right.
Yeah.
So we have to use the science of the brain to help ourselves and, get ahead of all of that. Maybe you're taking vitamin D supplements or vitamin B supplements and things like this. So making a plan is really, really important. Making that plan. It's like your own treatment plan goals for what you're going to do, what's going to be your morning. And we've spoken about this throughout the podcast. What's my physical health routine? Eat your colors. What are you
Mm-hmm.
eating? Are you eating sugar that's
Mm-hmm.
depleting your body, or are you eating energizing foods from Mother Earth that are going to nourish your mind, body, and soul, literally, you
Yeah,
know? So the physical health plays a huge piece in that, because if you don't have the physical health up to par, then it's going to affect your mental health, your spiritual health, and all the different things. So getting on a schedule, an exercise routine schedule, move your body, listening to positive affirmations, once again, having whatever kind of positive morning and evening ritual, praying, all of that stuff, all those coping skills and things like that. So, yes, so we're doing the cognitive restructuring, we're shifting our mindset, we're using the coping skills, we're having things to look forward to is good for mental health in general. I always talk to
you're
people
right.
about that because yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
broke
I mean,
up.
what's it like when
You
you
always
don't have
talk to
something to look
people.
forward to?
Exactly. That's why I like booking. I have a family vacation planned in May next year to go back to Aruba. It's something to look forward to. And it keeps people, yeah, it keeps you, first of all, saving. It keeps you excited. You want to pick out some new outfits and clothes and book stuff. I just think that's a great. So once a year we do that. We plan a vacation and it's like, oh, it's so far away, so far away. And then it comes so quickly and then it's over. It's like the depression mode sets in. Well, let's book something for next time. But even if it's not a vacation, right, it's something. It's going to see your family, going to see your friends, doing something that doesn't have to cost a lot of money, you know? But that's why I have a timeshare because I
Right.
like using it and committing to going and doing things.
Right, because it'll motivate you to do the thing.
Exactly. Do you have anything coming up? What
Hmm.
helps you in your state of mind for the winter blues, may I ask?
Yeah. So, we've been trying to just shift the mindset over here and
Mm-hmm.
not speaking those things into existence, really, because those intentions really manifest things. And on
Yeah.
our next podcast and my final podcast with this, we're going to talk about manifesting. So we want to manifest. Am I coming in okay?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, but you're taking
Okay,
a little
good.
bit of, I saw like one little pause there and another pause. So maybe an internet thing.
Okay.
Go ahead. Gotcha.
Right. All right. Yeah. So we really want to think about what we do want and not what we don't want. So every
Okay.
time I always have an intervention where I feel myself that I'm going to say something negative, I say, don't say that. And then, just like we've spoken about in previous podcasts, how am I going to shift that to positive language? So if the thought or the words are, I'm feeling really miserable because it's a dreary day today. It could be okay. It's a little dark out. You know what? It feels cozy. Maybe I'm gonna roast a chicken today, or maybe I'm gonna roast some delicious root vegetables that go in line with the season that are gonna, feed my soul and things. So it's really having that intervention. I call them, safe thought interventions
Okay.
or safe self-talk
Hmm.
interventions. The self-talk is really everything. Your thoughts create everything.
Yeah.
So I always shift it. I'm constantly challenging myself to shift something over to the positive. So instead of, oh crap, I'm going to be so freaking depressed this winter, I'm going to say, you know what? In the past, I haven't felt really good about the winter. And you know what? Maybe I really love it. Maybe I really love when it snows. And I can't wait to make a snow angel, to throw myself in the snow and just be free and make a snow angel. Looking forward to that, finding a hill to slide down or something. So I'm
Oh.
always trying to shift it. We're always a work in progress, so I mean, every morning what I really do, and it's tough because really with seasonal affective disorder, the best therapy is light therapy or phototherapy because we're not getting that sunlight. So if you could do something with a lamp, find something that's safe, or kind of just bundling up and getting into the sun if it's a sunny day for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right now it's beautiful out. So when I'm up, I do all my morning routine stuff and then I come out into the yard, no socks or shoes on, and I ground and I'm in the sun and I'm grounding to Mother Earth. Really, Mother Earth is going to help us to heal and transmute and alchemize a lot of this negative energy. So, if you can get outside in any kind of way, that's going to be really good. We have to be in nature because we are a part of
Oh,
nature and
oh,
we're
and
very segregated from nature. So, a lot of times we feel alone and bundle up.
not today. You're outside in full nature effect, by the way. I love it. And the chill, crisp in the air here in the fall just makes me feel good. It is my favorite season. What about you?
I love this season. I love this season. I'm not a huge fan of the humidity, so I like when it's nice and crisp and cool. And, I love the sun too. So I love to be in the sun and things, but I like that the seasons change because I feel that we change with the seasons as well. And we could kind of see the symbolism going on here with the seasons changing. Maybe, and this is another good way to look at it as well. Maybe in the winter we're kind of hibernating and discovering ourselves and planting the seeds for change and things like that. And then come the springtime, all those seeds starts to sprout and to grow. And in the summertime, we're celebrating all of that and we're excited about it. And then in the fall, we're kind of harvesting. We're
Yeah.
harvesting all of our abundance and things, so we can really look at the seasons as something really beautiful and that we change with the seasons with Mother Earth as well. So we got to let go and flow. We can't resist it. The more you resist the flow, the more you're going to feel that internal conflict, that cognitive dissonance, right? We have the two opposing thoughts that are causing friction in our minds. So we want to alleviate that by really finding a safe space in our minds that we can rest upon so we're not kicking up into fight or flight and the worry thoughts do nothing for anybody. They do not help you solve problems. We often try to problem solve in fight or flight, and we need to get back into the state of homeostasis, really using your breathing and things to stimulate your vagus nerve. Anything that makes you feel joy, that lifts you up, that brings you happiness is going to
Yeah.
help with all of those elevation hormones.
Got it.
So, and make you feel good. So, yes, we got to be good to ourselves,
I agree.
and be kind to ourselves.
And stay, gosh, you just have a way about you where you
Yes,
have a natural energy of you expel like exuberance, joy, happiness, and you can feel that from you. And I love it because it just put me in a good mood. It's putting, I think, those around us in a good mood to realize that you can have this life of happiness and we deserve it. And we all go through bad times and we all go through, bad things in our lives and hurdles, shall we say, but we can overcome them. I think it's so important to remember that, really, really.
definitely. Definitely. I appreciate that, Jill. I'm also very inspired by you. You are a beautiful, bright light, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Well, thank
Seriously.
you.
So,
So,
yeah, you're welcome. So, yeah, let's uplift each other. Let's
yeah,
have
and
this
that's what we
spiritual
should do.
awakeningness.
Some people don't. We need to do that. I agree,
Yes.
100%.
Yes. And let's shine our lights and help each other.
Beautiful. Let's tell us how we can
Definitely.
shine and reach out to
Definitely.
you, please.
Yes, please. So yes, I do offer a free 15-minute consultation. Mental health services would be just in New York with the Reiki. I can also do anywhere. It's all telehealth at the moment. And once again, my YouTube is up, Energy Wise Wellness. You can go to energywisewellness.com for my psychology today, my website, and my email is energywisewellness@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you, seeing you. Thank you for being this positive
Yes, Jill.
energy light. And we will connect again soon. You mentioned manifestation. Is that what we're going to be talking about next time?
Yes, manifesting where the magic happens.
Beautiful. Looking forward to
Yes.
that one. Enjoy your day, sweetheart. Thank you again.
You too.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Jill.
This is the Global Podcast Network. where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.